Hi guys, this is Jane Celia. I'm Bethesda Star. I'm a shaman. I'm also a targeted individual. If you're unfamiliar with that term, please look it up. Shamanically, to teach you some of the ancient roots of shamanism. Some of the will learn to go from a beta state of mind, which is your conscious analytical mind, into theta. And what I found, I wrote a master's thesis for Lesley University in shamanism. And I can't say that was my primary teaching. It's unique among shamans. Most shamans don't do a lot of academics. I certainly feel that my early childhood was my biggest teacher. I was alone by around 7. My mother was gone. I didn't know where she had gone. I had a nanny and a father who was mostly absent. And luckily for me, I lived in the country and I made the rivers, the woods, the trees, my family, and my home a lot of the time. Luckily, my nanny didn't really hear where I was most of the time. So I kind of ran wild for many years, and I think that was my salvation. I discovered love and healing and strength and power in nature. And today I call it strong need to return it. My name is Jane Celia. My spiritual name is Bethesda Star, which means healing pool of water. It's one of the names of the pools in Jerusalem where Christ healed. I was given the name by, I believe, the goddess, which is the feminine aspect of God. There is no separation. There is only love beyond this reality. We just have different names for it. So welcome. I'm going to try to make these videos short. I think people aren't willing or aren't able, or it's not convenient to watch long videos anymore. Never mind travel to workshops. I think we're moving on. We're collecting information so quickly. So I expect this will be 9 or 10 videos. I don't have a plan right now. This is a very rudimentary first presentation. It's going to be free for a while. I hope at some point to make it more professional. I want to say that there's 2 segments in history which frame my belief in where we are in the world and where we're going. At a certain point in time in the history of humanity, and shamans, including Dr. Michael Harner, who resurrected shamanism for the Western world and called it core shamanism, have experienced in their journeys and probably in their normal beta frame of mind, a reference to an invasion on Earth. And I do mean an invasion. The Bible spoke of it, that I think it was called Lucifer's angels came from above and dropped down on the earth. Michael Harner, in a journey created through ayahuasca, which incidentally is not the major form of journeying for shamans around the world. Dance, drum, rattle is the major form of switching our brain from beta to theta. And that is what it is. Our brains are so huge and so profound, but we're using one small part. The only piece of shamanism that's different for where you are right now is a tiny opening. We're going to switch from beta to theta. It's just like changing the channel, because it's all there, whether you choose to acknowledge it or not. Your ability as a shaman is right there in your brain, and it opens you up exponentially to beauty, love, joy, support, friendship from the power animals, your ancestors, your good ancestors, the loving and compassionate ascended masters. And you can journey into these worlds. You can ask questions. You can receive healings. And for targeted individuals, there's going to be special training. And I don't know of any other shaman I've ever read about. And I did a literary review of shamans all over the world and in history. And I know most of the contemporary shamans in the United States. No one is talking about artificial intelligence. And that's what a lot of us targets are dealing with, is remote neural mind control, drones, satellites. The list goes on and on and on of how technology has been militarized to surveil and harass truth tellers, activists, adepts in spirituality, technology, science. It is part of Agenda 21, which is a depopulation plan. And they want to eliminate, sort of suppress, organize some of the most caring, humanitarian, intelligent people first, because we're the ones that are going to try to stop them. So, back to Michael Harner and other shamans and other people, historians, anthropologists, many others. There was a point in time, and I'm talking about spiritual researchers and intuitives and psychics, for the most part, where we were invaded. This planet was invaded, and Michael Harner, under the influence of ayahuasca, was given access to these masters of the universe, they call themselves. And he said he was taken back to the beginning of time and brought through all the evolutions of humanity. And at one point, he at first described them as black specks fell from the sky. And in closer inspection, he said they had wings and they were reptilian-like, and that they told him they were fleeing from another planet, probably another planet they destroyed, because these particular strain of reptiles are disliked throughout the entire galaxy. Unfortunately, we ended up with them, but fortunately, it's going to empower us in our full capacity of who we are if we're going to defeat them, and defeat through love and transformation. I do support everybody doing the work on the physical, fill out affidavits, go to court, but it's much slower than the physical, because with shamanism, you can go right to the root of the thought that created, or the energy behind the AI, the energy behind the perpetrators, and you can remove that energy. You can dissolve that energy all on the spiritual level. And basically, you're going to be able to disempower your perpetrators on the spiritual level. So I hope I'm able to get all this information out to you. But I did want to start with a basic study. So that is one of my paradigms for this course, is that at a certain point, we were invaded. Now, prior to that point, there's anthropological, archaeological evidence of a paradise Earth. And that's my banner, Shaman for a Paradise Earth. I remember that Earth in my heart and soul and my bones. And there was not always war. There was not always slavery. There was not always torture. We lived in a paradise Earth. That is normal for this planet. They want you to believe there's always been wars. You know, that's why everything is historically is about the wars, the generals, like, you know, honoring this war and that war. It's all bullshit. It's all wars were bullshit. All wars were to profit the Illuminati families and the royal bloodlines, and humans are just used as slaves and warriors. And, you know, they come home with PTSD and then are denied disability or become targets themselves. So there was a time on Earth that was a paradise, and we need to get back to that. We need to reclaim our Earth. And one of the ways we have to do this is to disempower these invaders. And I think we can do it spiritually. And we're on the front lines. We're on the front lines, not necessarily voluntarily, but we have to do something to survive. So if we enable our own survival, we'll be doing that for the rest of humanity. So by the end of this video series, you will be a shamanic healer. You can call yourself a warrior of light. And I do give out certifications, not the same level as if you work directly with me, because I can oversee everything you're doing at all times. But if I know that you have watched all 10 videos, and I'll probably add some other requirements, you will have a certification. It may not be to do healings on other people, but it will be as a light worker, you know, for humanity. The oldest remains of a shaman was found in the Czech Republic. I believe it was Dolní Věstonice. It's a It's a site for excavation, 60,000 years old. This is not New Age, and it's not anti-Christian. It is about empowering yourself fully, as Christ said, as I do, so you can do. So he wants us to become completely empowered in all ways possible. And on Mother Earth, we were given an extraordinary power that we're taught to ignore it. In fact, it's been demonized. You know, if you talk to a tree, if you take flower essence, if you can heal naturally, it's demonized. And there's a very strong motivation for that, because once you learn your power, you're not going to invest in a hierarchical system like the Catholic Church. It says you can only find God through this system of, you know, white male pedophiles. You know, and I hate to say it, but the Catholic Church, that is the basis. I believe the basis of all evil on the earth comes from Rome and the Vatican Church. And it filters down to all different forms: the deep state, the Illuminati, you know, your local Mason, your local police, your local gang stalker, your local guy doing remote neural mind control. You know, the funding is coming from somewhere else, and it's coming from evil. And I believe, you know, when you go way, 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 way back, it's all going to go back to Rome, as strange as that sounds. So anyway, yes, the oldest form of that was discovered in archaeological evidence is in the Czech Republic. As I said, it's a 60,000-year-old skeleton. It was a woman, and I do believe females are naturally shamanic. We all are. I found in my master's thesis is lineages of shamans at every point in the earth at one point or another. So we all have it in our DNA. But women are natural healers, and the earth is feminine. And I feel like women are the natural healers on earth, but men can absolutely learn this. So throughout history, they have found the cave paintings, and I wish I had screen share. I could show you some of them from all over the world, and we're going back as far as 60,000 years. Humans naturally understood that there was love and power in the moon and the sun. I don't know about the moon, but the sun, the earth, you know, the flowers, the trees, the animals, and they join power with that, with these beings. You know, that's why you see some of the natives with the headdress. And they're tapping into the power of the bear or the wolf. And they're not tapping into the power of a wolf. They are tapping into the consciousness of the entire species. And that's what God has given us, this amazing power right here on earth. We are not worshiping. Some people say if you have a power, if you light a candle and you sit and pray and you talk to your power, you're worshiping. We're not worshiping any of these things. We are aligning with this God-given beauty and power and grace and joy. We're aligning with it as our God-given right. So cave paintings, Paleolithic, petroglyphs, rock paintings throughout the centuries. Shamanism were Aboriginal, Hawaiian, the Kuna, the Celts, the African shamans, the shaman in Siberia. Actually, shaman is a Siberian word that means one who sees in the dark. And I would call it one who sees into the unseen, because it certainly doesn't seem dark. When you're in there, the upper world, middle world, lower world can be, especially lower world and upper world, the most beautiful, fantastical place you've ever seen. And it's certainly a welcome relief for me from the sort of the hell that many of us are experiencing. And I don't say that that's my everyday life, but if you're a target, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So again, I'm going to try to make these videos short, and I want to go into experiential as soon as possible, where we'll actually be journeying. But first, there's a lot of things I need to talk to you about. I need to talk to you first. Some will be mental health and behavior. Some of the things you can't be doing if you want to take this class, which, of course, would include some pharmaceuticals. Even marijuana does not work. It will leave a hole in your energy field unless you're using it with respect. It is one of the sacred herbs like ayahuasca and mushrooms and marijuana. I think it's getting misused. It's sacred. It is for certain purposes, and she will not like it if you misuse her. So, and also we're going to be going into a state of theta with the drum beat, and you believe me, you don't need anything else to open up that. You're going to be all the access is going to be done through drum beat or a rattle. And so you don't want anything else affecting your brain. I mean, light drinking maybe the night before is fine. If you're in an abusive relationship, you might not want to be taking this. I did that. It was a waste of my time, because whatever you're learning, is just you're being covered in dirt all over again every time you go home. You have to be open to healing and letting go of things that don't serve you, which will be part of I will be doing an energy clearing for everybody at one point or another, probably towards the beginning. So you need to be willing to let go of things that do not serve your higher self. Other things I wanted to mention. The first one, again, this is a pretty, informal. I don't have the tech. I'm not a techie. I hope sometimes maybe Sounds True or Gaia, the television channel Gaia, will make it more professional. So I think I'm going to make it that, just a brief history. One more thing I will add, core shamanism, again, was brought to the West by Dr. Harner. You can read his book, The Way of the Shaman, and I highly suggest it for as part of the reading material for this class, is The Way of the Shaman. He's recently deceased. He did, through his study of shamans all over the world, resurrect the core principles which we're using. Some of those core principles are upper world, lower world, and middle world, shamanic state of consciousness, shamanic journeying, the travel beat, the drum beat. Power animals are integral, and spirits, loving and compassionate spirits, are integral to the shaman's world. So those are the few things that you might consider before you start. Are you ready to let go of old stuff? Are you ready to heal? Are you ready to become empowered and bring more love and light to the planet, and try to erase this program spiritually, this targeted individual, which is just a term. We're all targeted, even if you're not specifically targeted. Many people are part of this Agenda 21. I think Deagle, a military site that has statistical analysis, says there's about 326, something like that, million Americans now. By 2025, they want it to be 99 million. So that's 2/3 of the population that may be affected by Agenda 21. I think we have the power to change it, reverse it, heal the planet, and I hope that you join me. So lots of love and blessings. And if you have any comments, questions, please put them below. Please like if you like. Please share if you feel so inclined. And you can go to my website if you ever want to study with me personally. It's BethesdaStar.com, BethesDA.com. Otherwise, this is going to be a series that's on, I'd say probably at least 10 videos, maybe longer. I don't know. I haven't planned it out. So this is experimental, which is one reason it's free. And the main reason is because I want to empower as many people as possible on this planet. So lots of love. See you next time. Oh, and another thing, I'll probably be doing them. I don't know. I'm getting, the guidance from my higher self. I would say I'm guessing every few days. And if that changes, I'll let you know.